G'day, kia ora whanau, you're here with me, the maoriwargamer, and today we'll be playing a Warhammer 40K battle report. Blech. Welcome whanau to the 75 power level battle between the Genestealer Cults of the Rusted Claw and the Necrons. Here is a battle for control of the forest outpost here on the planet of Atreus. So we're playing a Crucible of War, hold your gains mission. The Necrons are in possession of this vital point of interest on the battlefield, this Imperial Bastion. A hard fought battle to control it, and the Genestealers aren't going to sit quietly while they occupy this area. So Bidley 1 strategic locations are vulnerable to counterattack. The defeated army eager to regain their lost ground. The beleaguered victors have little time to consolidate their gains before they must mount their defense and hold on until further reinforcements arrive. So Imhotep, the Stormlord, and a Necron Overlord as well, rallying the Necron warriors. A small defense, 1/3 of the power level of the army locked in here, so they're holding off until reinforcements arrive, whilst all elements of the Genestealer Cults have risen up, flanking the east and the west. Mighty Patriarch is leading his forces, so they're all deployed along here. Cult ambush, not really working. I don't think it works within this within this mission. So yeah, he's personally come to lead all the generations, the first and second, the third and fourth, all in here, heavy vehicles as well, ready to mount the attack and claim this area of the planet, which is hotly contested. There is Imhotep himself, following the events of last week's battle. Mission is simple, so whoever has the most units within this area of the map at the end of the game wins within 12 inches. So Necrons are looking to hold off and pick off the Genestealers as they make the long march across the forests, across the ruined city, whilst plugging in any holes across the battlefield with their reserve forces that are on the way. Everything for the Genestealer Cults is down and ready to go. So that is the mission. Genestealer Cults will be taking out turn 1. But before we go into that, we'll take a closer look at the armies that we'll be playing with today. So leading the Genestealer Cults, we have 2 battalion detachments. First detachment consisting of the 3rd and 4th generation of Genestealers, led by a Magus with a familiar and a staff, and the Primus with a bone sword and needle pistol. 3 10-man neophyte hybrid squads. Each have about 6 auto guns, 2 special weapons, 2 heavy weapons. A squad is shotgun led by a sergeant with a power maul. Squad here, sergeant with a chain sword. They've got 2 mining lasers, 2 grenade launchers. The squad here, 2 flamers and 2 heavy stubbers. Sergeant with power pick. And a Colt Lehman Russ with battle cannon, las cannon, 2 heavy bolters. And a Goliath rock grinder with a heavy mining laser, heavy stubber, drill dozer blades. And then the 2nd battalion detachment led by the Patriarch, Genestealer Patriarch with monstrous rending claws, as well as a little familiar, and the Abominant with the super sledgehammer. 3 5-man acolyte hybrid squads, each with a heavy weapon and a leader with a whip-in sword. This one here, heavy rock saw. This one here, heavy rock drill. And this one here, heavy rock cutter. And then the elites at the back, we have a 5-man hybrid metamorph squad. Just basic bare bones, rending claws by the looks of it. Look exactly like the acolytes. Over here, 5-man aberrant squad, 4 power picks and 1 goal with the stop sign. And 1 10-man squad of Genestealers, pure strain Genestealers. We have a battalion detachment of Necrons led by Imhotep the Stormlord with the Gauntlet of Fire and a Staff of the Destroyer, and a Necron Overlord with the War Scythe and a Resurrection Orb. 2 10-man Necron warrior squads with Gauze Flayers, 5-man Necron Immortal squad with Gauze Blasters. 5-man Deathmark squad with Synaptic Disintegrators. 2 3-man Scarab squads with Theta Mandibles. 3-man Toonblade squads with 2 Gauze Blasters. An Annihilation Barge with a Twin Tesla Destructor and a Gauze Cannon. Doomsday Arc with a Doomsday Cannon and a Gauze Flayer Array. And the latest addition to the channel here, a Doom Scythe with a subtly named Death Ray and 2 Tesla Cannons. Alright, final end of movement phase for the Genestealer Cults on turn 1. Spent 2 command points on the Dawn Assault rule as the last slivers of night linger. The attackers strike from the gloom, perfectly fitting for the Genestealer Cult. So, Dawn Assaults, Dawn Raiders in effect, so that means -1 to hit for first turn for both of us. Just simulating the cover of night, the ambushers move forward and we've advanced most of the units across the battlefield. Crazy we're going to be in for combat's next turn unless things play out in a different way. So everyone's advanced, moved across the battlefield with frightening speed, particularly the Genestealers and the Patriarch. That within turn 1 charge on those guys most likely. So it could be a quick game if I play my cards right. I'll have to wait and see. So going to be no shooting in this turn. So pretty much the end of it, but we will go into the psychic phase for Genestealer Cults on turn 1. Alright, so psychic phase, Magus is going to fire Smite into the Necrons over there. And that's a big boy Smite. That's a D6, is it?
What is it?
11.
Yeah, that's a big boy one.
That's D6?
Yeah.
More ones? Oh, 5 mortal wounds. Harnessing the crippling power of the warp and unleashing a devastating psychic attack against these Necrons. 5 of them keel over dead. And across here, the mighty Genestealer Patriarch will attempt a mass hypnosis against the Necrons. Warp value 7. Does not go off. But that will end the psychic phase. We're going to go into charge list for some assaults. Alright, final for turn 1 fight phase. Multi-charge into the Scarabs and the Necron Warriors. Boosted by the might of the Genestealer Patriarch. Should be easy pickings for the Xenos forces there. So we're going to get this combat done and dusted. Alright, so before the combat begins, fill us in if we're reading this incorrectly, whanau. Self-destruction stratagem from the Necron Codex. The self-destruct protocols of Kineptic Scarabs cause them to explode in a hail of razor-sharp armor fragments. Use this after a unit of Scarabs from your army piles in, but before they make their close combat attacks. So pile-in is occurring right now when they mob in there. Genestealers get the first turn to attack, but I think that stratagem takes priority. So they're going to all detonate, all 3 of them?
Yep.
So 3 of them detonating, D6, roll it. Detonating on it 2. All but 1, command point to reroll. All 3 explode, dealing D3 mortal wounds. 1, 3, 2. That's 6 mortal wounds. You can't make a multiples against mortal wounds. That's 6 dead. Oh wait, there's that little guy there. 5 dead. Alright, so 4 Genestealers dead as well as the familiar. But first blood to me, if first blood counted. Luckily it doesn't. But going into continue the rest of the fight, we have 6 Genestealers and the Patriarch left to carve these guys out. Alright, so 18 attacks from the Genestealers, hitting on 3s, hitting on 2s, +1 because of the Patriarch in there. So 18 attacks. We're going to carve open these robots like a tin can. Alright, so the Genestealers are cutting in, landing to wounds, so looking for forwards. Brute telepathy cast by the Patriarch. hopefully buffing them up. 4s. 6s are rend. Oh, not that good.
3.
4. He still hasn't attacked, so don't get too excited. Alright, so that didn't go to plan. Ended up landing 4 wounds and 3 of them saved with 6 up rolls. So Patriarch, cut them up even deep, please, my friend. 2s to hit. And monstrous rending claws. 3s to wound. Oh, 6s or something. Let me check. Alright, so the monstrous rending claws, you can reroll failed wounds. So we've got 3 6s there, 2 3s. Reroll that failed wound. Boom. So that's 3 wounds at -3 AP. Does that go straight through?
Yeah.
These ones on 6s are -6 AP, damage 6. Oh, damage 3. So that 6 goes straight through and 6 dead. Boom. That's it. That's the Daddy Patriarch, father of the Genestealer Cult, the Cult of the Rusted Claw. He's furious, he's angry, and he's cutting into these Necrons with a vengeance. Great work. Do they morale out? Yeah, so end of the Genestealer Cults, turn 1. Just a quick morale test for these guys. Leadership 10. Lost 7. 7 plus 6 is 12. So that's 2 more dead. So we'll get to reanimate everyone but those 2. And we'll go into the turn for the Necrons. See what they could do to hold out. A heavy first turn for them already, and the cover of night is still in effect. So good luck to them there. We'll see what they do. Necrons, turn 1. Alright, finally, so end of the movement phase for the Necrons, turn 1. Here in the Hold Your Gains Crucible of War mission, fresh out of the Vigilus Defiant book. Vigilus Defiant Part 1, there has been the release of Part 2, but you know, just humble, come from humble beginnings here, can't afford all the richest and finest things that the bigger channels do. If you want to donate me one, let me know, send it through. Email me and I'll send you an address to deliver it to. Cheers. There you go, self-promotion. Reanimations went hard on these guys. They got reinforced. These ones reinforced somewhat, still locked in that deadly combat. They don't get to roll for reserves until turn 2, which is pretty troublesome when you look at the battlefield. I really feel, if I play my cards right, I can actually wipe them out next turn. So we'll see what they do. 75 power level battles, we don't often do those on the channel, quite big. So if we can, because they take so long, so if this will be a positive thing if we can wrap this up quickly. We'll go into the rest of their turn, shooting phase. Alright, so Imhotep, the Storm Lord, ancient leader of the Necrons, equivalent of, you know, Marnius Calgar, any head honcho unit, Eldrad Ulthran. He's calling the storm upon the battlefield, starting with the Leman Russ. So roll the d6, suffers that many mortal wounds. 2 mortal wounds, and then it stems off 6 inches, which is this lot here, d3 mortal wounds. So the Stormbringer, Imhotep, causes lightning strikes, takes down 2 of the neophytes there, 2 neophytes here, takes off a wound off the Magus and 2 wounds off the Leman Russ. So we'll continue with the rest of the shooting phase. So this big thing, what is it? Doomsday Arc? Yeah. Hitting into the Leman Russ, 5 hits, -1's a hit because of the night fighting. So we're hitting on 4s. Yo.
Command point, reroll 1. Bam.
There we go, 2 hits. So 2 hits, wounding on 3s. 2 wounds.
-5.
-5, go straight through.
D6.
Oh, roll low. He's used his command points already. Double 1s. Snake Eyes. 8. He's got 10, so he's got 2 wounds left. Still in the game. Alright, fine. So end of the shooting phase for the Necrons, turn 1. Did a bit of damage considering there's only like 3 units that could shoot. He's making up all sorts of rules coming out there, Whanau. A few deaths across the field, but nothing too much to worry about. We're going into the assault phase, where these guys are going to charge into that already engaged combat. So gain the self-destruction, 1 command points. My opponent burning through those. 3 explosions, 2 ups. 3 explosions, 3 D3 damages. 2, 2, 2, 6 dead. Calm down. He's all dead, and he can kill all 6 of the Genestealers. And then we'll go into this combat here. Alright, so end of the Necrons turn 1. 2 units of Scarabs used merely for self-destruction purposes. I guess points-wise that balances out. How much are the Scarabs worth? 2 points. Yeah, and then my my Genestealers were worth like 6 points for the 10-man squad, so kind of I guess worth it. Plus, yeah, if it's stopping them early prevents them from helping the rest of them. So, Genestealer Cult, the Patriarch took out those guys in the end, and that's going to continue along here, the slaughter. Reserves start rolling in from turn 2, so I want to make as much damage as I can. Yeah, I forgot to shoot with those guys last turn as well. But we'll make a difference now. Turn 2, Genestealer Cult, stay with us. Alright, finally, so turn 2, movement phase. The noose is tied tightly around the Necron's neck. Necron's neck, that was good. Made that up on the spot. Anyway, as the forces all converge upon the critical spot, the Patriarch scrambled up the bastion there to take on Imhotep the Stormlord. The other forces are gaining a firing position, moving forward slowly towards the center before the reinforcements arrive. So we'll go into the psychic phase, unleash some devastation, and come back to you in the shooting phase. Alright, psychic phase. What's this dude's name? Patriarch, gonna smite into Imhotep the Stormlord. Another big dog smite, please. Oh, double ones. We're gonna command point that. Down to 12 command points, by the way. Alright, re-rolling that one. Just need a 4, 5, or a 6. Oh, 4. Just smites in. D3 mortal wounds. Oh! Ooh. Yeah, baby. 3 wounds onto Imhotep, down to 3. Goodbye, baby boy. Alright, fine. So that's the end of the shooting phase for the Genestealer Cults on turn 2. Took out the rest of those Necron warriors. Brought that down from 14 wounds to 7. Yeah, the quantum shielding, that's a pain to get through. Hey, these guys all did nothing. Nothing. So yeah, I don't know if I can finish it. 14 power level. My opponent's 1/3 of his power level. He's going to have reserve rolls on, so might still have a chance, but don't think we're going to get that turn 2 finish. Going into the fight phase, though, charges, see what's going to happen there. Alright, so the Aberrants, the Neophytes have charged into the Necron Overlord here, and the Patriarch has charged in against the Doomsday Ark and Imhotep. So we're going to get these combats done. Alright, finally, so end of the Genestealer Cults for turn 2. Couldn't quite deliver the final blow and get everyone cleared off before the reserves potentially roll on. Although we do have the luck of the dice. My opponent's only got 2 command points. So the force should be strong with me. Patriarch chopped in, wounding up, bringing that mighty vehicle from 14 down to 2. Well, down to 1, but then Living Metal enacted. Living Metal for him, he's also back to full health, but you know, he's not going to do too much locked in. that's the state of the battlefield. In the forest outpost of Atreus, our forces are fighting fiercely for control of it. As we move into the Necrons turn 2, see what they can bring on in terms of reserves. Alright, so rolling for reserves, my opponent's going to check each unit comes on, 3+. Doom Scythe is in. Annihilation Barge, 3+. Annihilation Barge is in. Necron Immortals, not in. Command point reroll. Talked. They're in. What are these guys? Death marks.
Yeah.
3+. Off the table, they're not in.
No,
That's the rules. Off the table. That's the rules. Yes. We need dice rolls. And last guys, Tomb Blades, not in as well. So we brought 3 units on. They have to set up within 12 inches of my deployment, so on either side of the battlefield. Alright, so end of the movement phase. They are newly reinforced to the channel, a Doom Scythe. Pretty cool. Looks like a... If you painted it like a bit yellowy, if I had one, a croissant. That's like perfect croissant looking thing. Annihilation Barge, 5 Immortals are on the table as well, coming in flanking behind the Genestealer forces, who are now inhabiting the point of interest. We're going into the shooting phase for the Necrons, see what they can do. Alright, final end of the shooting phase for the Necrons, turn 2. Death Ray vaporizing the wounded Leman Russ, just zap. Reducing that to nothing. Annihilation Barge, these dudes come in, bit of a sweeping assault and cleared out a lot of the units from there actually. But we're still alive, still kicking, heading into the fight phase up here. Alright, and end of the Necrons turn 2. Imhotep dealt 2 wounds to the Patriarch. Patriarch ended up taking down the Doomsday Ark. So center of the battlefield here in this Hold Your Games mission. Necrons all but wiped out from the center of the battlefield, with more arriving from here. And 2 more forces still in reserve might arrive next turn. I'll go into Genestealer Cults turn 3 and I guess start prepping our defenses of this area to hold the games. End of the movement phase for the Genestealer Cults on turn 3. Here as the fight for the forest outpost on Atreus continues, our forces are beginning to lock themselves in. Remember, the goal is to have the most units within 12 inches of the center of the battlefield. So we're working slowly to secure that. All my forces getting in position. The Aberrants, Abominant, climb to the top of the bastion to finish off Imhotep, aid their Patriarch. The Neophytes lighting up behind the defense line, making a little gun wall. Dudes in here staying in the crater, and also spent 6 command points to call in reinforcements for their stratagem exclusive to this battle, bringing back 10-man Genestealer squad and the Leman Russ that was destroyed last turn to my opponent's dismay. So our forces are in. These are the last 3 units standing. Let's tie up the game and go do what we want to do. Alright, final end of the shooting phase for the Genestealer Cults on turn 3. The Cults have mobbed in against Imhotep. Defeat is all but inevitable. I guess at this point, let's see who can bloody up who the most, really. Brought down the Annihilation Barge down by half its wounds, down to 4 remaining, and about to launch a charge into these Immortals. So stay with us, Fana. We'll wrap up this turn into Necron's turn and then see if we need to continue the game. Alright, Fana, so that is the end of the turn for the Genestealer Cults on turn 3. Wiped out the Immortals, again, not even needing to blink an eye. I think, I don't know, they defeated the Warriors last time, then got suicide. They got Allah Akbar. It's over controversial here. But hashtag they are us. I'll bleep that all part out. Going into Genestealer Cults, Necrons turn 3. They've got 2 more reserve rolls, see if they can bring anyone on. Otherwise, it's adios, amigos. Also, Immunotech die. End of movement phase for the Necrons turn 3. The Death Marks and the Tomb Blades have arrived, but are they too late to stop the inevitable defeat? Potentially not. Wounded Boot, Annihilation Barge making its track across the battlefield. Doom Scythe zipping right across the battlefield. Shame for this one, arriving late in the game. We don't get to show off too much of its abilities. Cool looking model though, in that Death Ray. Yeah, very sci-fi there going on. Opponent could potentially win though, 11 points there, so he's a flyer as well, so he can just hover over there. It's the most power level points. So I mean, I'm going to be hard pressed to shoot this down, but I've got a big lot of power levels in the center, so it could win, but going to go shooting phase, see what he can pick off, and then figure out what to do next turn. Alright, so end of the shooting phase for the Necrons on turn 3. Pretty nice return from them. Wiping out 7 Genestealers there, blasting out enemies across the field, left, right and centre. But not quite enough to secure victory just yet as we move into turn 4 of the Genestealer Cults. Potentially. Can't be bothered playing the rest of the game. Alright, finally, so we're going to call the game there. An uneasy stalemate settles across the battlefield. Pulling away the Genestealer forces from the battlefield. The wounded Necrons managed to walk away with a little semblance of dignity. This guy gets to fly off and... But what could potentially have diverted the Genestealers who were on the verge of an imminent victory? What forces, what troubles have arisen that could potentially draw them away? Well, you just have to stay tuned to the channel there, whanau, to find out what, this is pure story or why. It's not made up on the spot. I planned it. But you have to tune in to find out. So yeah, what a thrilling conclusion. What a crazy turn of events here, I must say. To round out the Genestealer Cult Necron campaign, the addition of a new unit, the Doom Scythe. They're very cool. Unfortunately, didn't get to play around with that as much as we wanted to, but next time they appear, we'll give them a better mission. Maybe flyer versus flyer, that'd be cool. I've got one, yeah, we could do flyer versus flyer sometime eventually. I've got one from Dark Angels, we've got one for Space Wolves, and one from Necrons. So, Chaos could use a flyer. The Helldrake. Yeah, we might brainstorm that, a flyer versus flyer battle. That'll be something cool for the channel. Helldrake is actually quite a cool model too. Black Legion Helldrake, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, whanau, I hope you enjoyed the battle. Pretty cool. The Genestealers, yeah, they're quite interesting. Still got a lot to learn with them. Building them up, multiple battalion detachments, the command point opportunities. That is their greatest strength. Spammed out some cool stratagems like that one to call for reinforcements. A lot of nifty abilities that they've got in that codex. So we'll study a bit more to give you a bit more knowledgeable gameplay. But whanau, I hope you enjoyed that one there. Beautiful models. That's what I present to you on that weekly basis. This one here, painted up in under a week. So that's what we do. We want to, bit of work on the basing as well, texture paint and simple work, but we want to get it at least tabletop quality. That is my one rule. Never want to present anything that I wouldn't want to watch. So yeah, not the finest of battle reports. I haven't watched any full battle report in ages now, since I mostly make them. But yeah, I remember what I used to like watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this battle. Tune in next week. Let's check what armies we'll be playing with. Tuning next week, whanau, we'll have the Space Wolves, Sons of Fenris, and Lehman Russ appearing on the battlefield. New units there for your entertainment, and they'll be facing off against the Tau, both entering the battle for Atreus 2019 first battles on the channel this year. So that'll be cool. New units promised for both of those armies. So don't miss out there, whanau. Like this video if you did enjoy it. Give it a thumbs up. Show your support for a humble multi-wargamer making some amateur YouTube content. You know, we're going to do our part to make a difference in the world. So this is my contribution. Entertainment in its purest form. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video with your friends, your family, your neighbour, your mailman. Anyone. I don't care as long as I get the views. I'm hungry. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I am the multi-wargamer. Ka kite. Anō.